Aloha, this is Jessica Smith responding to the Paradox of Choice video about practical wisdom. And he defined, Barry Schwartz defined practical wisdom as moral will and moral skill. He started out talking about in a hospital there are employees, janitors, basically, who have learned practical wisdom. He talks about like the basic skills that are the basic job definition that people have when they are employed in this hospital. You know, cleaning the floors, vacuuming, in general, cleaning up chores. They're not too hard, but when they're talked to, they talk about how their job takes a lot of experience and a lot of understanding, knowing when to not vacuum the visitor center because there's a family that's sleeping that has been up all night with a family member, or other various things that help think of people first, kind of like in the Arbinger things that we were learning, to think of the people first. And he talks about how that takes a lot of experience, and that becomes practical wisdom, that it's something that's made and not born, and excuse me, you know, not serving yourself, but being able to put others first, and knowing when to improvise. And that was kind of the moral skill, I believe, of the two that he talked about. I mean, compared that to a jazz musician, how they have the rules that they follow, the notes on the page, but at the same time they're able to improvise and are able to change and to show off their skill because of the talent and the experience that they have as a musician. They are able to create something beautiful. And he talked about how rules, on the opposite end, you know, if we have too many rules, that it takes away our ability to think. We don't have to think about how we would want to improvise a jazz music score. We just, you know, play the notes on the page, and it's not quite the same. It doesn't necessarily take a talented musician to just play what's written. It takes a good musician to be able to improvise and to change the rules, and to know when to follow and when things might need to be changed, like a janitor, you know, not vacuuming for the sake of the family. Says that, you know, if there are too many rules, it becomes a downward spiral, and we lose our moral skill because we lose that ability to think and to choose, and that it assures mediocrity. So he's not necessarily saying that rules are bad, but he is talking about how they can be limiting, and we need to know when to push and when to pull in any given situation, so that we can put people first, and have the moral skill and that practical wisdom that is most valuable in the world today, because ethics are lived and not taught, is something else that he mentions. Being able to being able to live through those experiences and to be able to learn from your mistakes is what allows for that to grow, and not to demoralize behaviors by putting in place rules like the daycare that he mentions, about being late. And when they put a fine for being late, the tardiness went up because it became a service. It was no longer something that they had to do just to be good. It's become demoralized. And there's a lot of things like that happening in our society, and so Barry Schwartz is kind of calling for a return to that practical wisdom and kind of common sense of thinking about other people instead of what we need to do always first.